How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another segment of Crossing the Line. I'm Sergio Cano. To the right of me is Matt Intrican. To the left of me is Brian Kilman. Hope you guys are doing well. Our first topic of the day is the Rockies aren't playing their best ball. Fellas, do you think the Rockies could turn it around, Matt?
Yeah, I do. I think the Rockies are going to be fine. I'm not concerned at all about the Rockies. I think it's just a case of growing pains and not having the usual players that the Rockies have had on their roster. This is the first year in almost half of a decade that they don't have DJ LeMahieu, they don't have Carlos Gonzalez, and they don't have Adam Ottavino. Cargo and DJ have been at the core of the team's leadership for the better part of the last 5 years. And when you make an abrupt roster change like the Rockies have done this past offseason, it changes things. And everybody knows that in sports, team chemistry is everything. And the Rockies, it's not like they're playing catastrophically. They're not putting up the same numbers as the Marlins, who only have 8 wins. They're 16-20. They started off really slow. They had their worst 12-game start in franchise history, but they've picked it up. With every game, they will learn how to play with each other, how to play in Coors Field. Daniel Murphy won't be hitting under 200 forever. Ian Desmond's not going to be hitting under 200 forever. And even with all that, they still have 5 players who are hitting at least a batting average of 290 or above. And starting pitching is really the only thing that is the Rockies' biggest concern. And Kyle Freeland is not pitching like Kyle Freeland. It's only a matter of time before he starts to get back to the form he had in his rookie year when he was nearly an all-star.
Okay,
Wow.
You want to talk about Kyle Freeland. You know, in his rookie year, maybe he was just lucky. You know, maybe Kyle Freeland isn't actually that good at pitching. I mean, obviously he's a major league pitcher, so I mean he's like great at at pitching, but maybe he isn't what he was his rookie season. And you talk about Ian Desmond, you talk about Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy's hitting .063 at home. That's his batting average. Not even a .1 batting average at home. Ian Desmond's making $15 million a year to hit 198. I just think, and you talked about senior leadership on the team. Ian Desmond should be a senior leader. Daniel Murphy should be a senior leader on the team. And they're just not showing up. And you look at Tyler Anderson. He got demoted, so he's not on the team anymore. He's down in Albuquerque, AAA Isotopes. And he threw his ERA was 11.76. He gave up 8 home runs, and I just don't think they could come back. And Charlie Blackmon in the field has not been what he was.
For the record, I've never liked Tyler Anderson. Never thought he was that good of a pitcher. Tyler Anderson's not the problem. They still made the playoffs the last 2 years with Tyler Anderson on the starting rotation. But you can't say that Daniel Murphy and Ian Desmond need to come into the Rockies and be their leaders after not even for being on the team for not. This is Daniel Murphy's first season. You can't expect him to be a leader of 40 guys who he hasn't even met before, and you can't expect Ian Desmond to be that guy when he's only been on the team for a year. DJ was that guy. Cargo was that guy. Cargo was the face of the Rockies for a decade. And I'm telling you, it just takes time for teams to be able to mesh, to learn how to be able to be comfortable with each other. The hitting hasn't been the problem. The pitching has been the problem.
The pitching has been the problem. And we look, I mean, you talked about Kyle Freeland, 2-5 and 7 starts, and his ERA is like 7.6 at home, something like that. And in Coors Field
is tough to pitch.
Coors Field, you should be able to show up as a pitcher. You play half your games there, and he's not even, he's not new there.
Hold on.
Okay.
Coors Field is the toughest ballpark to pitch in.
Oh, okay. I disagree.
That's a fact.
I disagree.
What is the toughest ballpark?
Yankee Stadium, toughest ballpark, because it's like 300 in right field, short wall, and you don't get a home run at Yankee Stadium.
That's true. It is a tough ballpark to pitch in. But we got the altitude factor in Colorado. It is not easy to avoid giving up home runs with that thin air. That's all I'm saying.
How much did that thin air affect?
He did great last year. Kyle Freeland was great last year at Coors Field. He had under a 3 ERA. He made
Yeah.
Kyle
It's not
Freeland is
showing up
it's
this
just
year.
a slow start. And historically,
And start-
historically the Rockies every year have always started hot in April and then faltered down the length of the season. And so I think, this is the time where we just start slow and then we're going to kill it come June.
So
That's my hunch.
So you guys think, before we get started on to the next topic, you guys think that this season is different than all the other seasons, considering how they start hot and then they just, kind of dip off a little bit? Or do you guys think this season is going to be a lot more different than the other ones? Or where do you guys see this going down as a domino effect?
I would say, this is a different season. It's a different team. We've been a winning team the last 2 years, and we've added pieces like Daniel Murphy, who I know is not playing good baseball right now. He's coming off an injury, though, and playing in switching cities is not the easiest thing to do for a player. But he is an all-star player. He is an elite player, and it just takes time. So you got to be patient. Trust the process.
The last thing
Patience is virtue.
last thing I'll say is same story, different day.
Okay.
Okay, wow. That was interesting. I still got to go to a Rockies game. Anyways, our next topic, really. Odell Beckham said something that could cause a little bit of controversy and get all these fans up in turmoil. He said that the Cleveland Browns are going to be the new Patriots. Do you guys agree? Brian, we'll go with you first.
No. Simply, that is a bold statement, and simply, there's no Bill Belichick in Cleveland. There's no Bill Belichick
Still
in
a lot of
Cleveland.
football to play.
And that's the easiest thing to say, I think, is Belichick somehow in New England has brought guys in who played lacrosse through college, and then somehow Super Bowl winning wide receiver up for the Patriots. And just like Bill Belichick has a vision, and the Patriots have a vision for these players, and I think it's as simple as that. The coaching just in Cleveland will not be good enough to make the Browns a dynasty.
I won't disagree with that. The Cleveland Browns definitely do not have a Bill Belichick on their team. But then again, nobody else has a Bill Belichick on their team. I'm not going to say, though, that the Browns are going to be the Patriots. I think that's a little bit of a reach for Odell Beckham. But I don't think really anybody takes what Odell Beckham says very seriously. But I will say, the Browns are Super Bowl contenders. And I think quite obviously, if you take a look at the AFC North, who's there? Cincinnati Bengals?
Cincinnati.
Anybody like them?
Nope.
Anybody like them to win the AFC North?
Nope.
Houston Texans after last season? I don't think so.
Baltimore Ravens.
Or Baltimore, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Baltimore Ravens.
What do you mean after last year?
Actually, they had a good year.
Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah.
An okay year. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be the guy. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, we see other.
Is there Le'Veon Bell still on the team? Is Antonio Brown still on the team? The Browns are loaded. Man, they have a secondary. They have pass rushing. They have pass catchers. And they finally have a quarterback.
Quarterback, yes.
They were a decent team last year, even without Baker Mayfield starting the first 4 games of the season. The fact that Baker Mayfield not only has Odell Beckham, but Jarvis Landry is his second best receiver. They're in great shape.
Okay, I think they could be contenders in the next 5 years, certainly. I think for any team to say they're going to be the next Patriots is definitely a stretch, which is sort of what I'm sort of disagreeing with the Browns, because the Patriots are a once in a NFL team with that dynasty, 6 rings Tom Brady has. I just think no team ever can be the Patriots again, I don't believe. And we saw Odell. Frankly, Cleveland doesn't have that much to be excited about. I think Odell's going out on a limb to make Cleveland excited about something. The Cavs are awful. LeBron left the Cavs. They're terrible.
Yeah.
And the Indians have like the worst batting average in the league or something like that. They're winning some games, but they're not showing up. And I think Odell went to a lot of games in Cleveland when LeBron was playing over there. I think Odell wanted to get the city of Cleveland excited, but I don't think they have it in them.
Right.
I mean, the Browns, we'll have to see what happens this year. But I think I think it's going to be a very interesting and a very exciting year for Cleveland. I mean, although how timely is it? The year LeBron leaves, Cleveland Browns gets all these great players. And, after all, everybody smoked the Browns for drafting the way they drafted last year. And look at them now. They are in terrific shape.
Yeah, I want to say this before we go on to our next topic is, the Browns came a long way. They went 7-8-1. Major, huge improvement. They have a stout defense. They have Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. And I feel like the whole city of Cleveland, the whole community needs something to cheer on, like you said. No LeBron, Cavs are terrible, Indians, I mean, who cares, right? But at the end of the day, like it's a far-fetched statement. You got to go out in the field, and I think Odell is just, he's feeling himself. He's feeling confident, but there's a lot of work to do on that field, and, people are going to be gunning for you for saying something like that. But, hey, I guess it's going to be interesting, right? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I'm actually rooting for the Browns. It's a long time coming.
I'm rooting for the Browns, too. Browns, too. And, I
do think they'll win the division for sure.
Odell said Baker Mayfield's going to be getting that jacket to go into Canton in a couple of years. So I don't know what that either. Odell's just saying something.
Odell's he's on a high horse right now. But anyways, yeah. Is that all you guys had to say for that?
Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm good on the Browns.
Well, so our next topic, basically, what's going on with Kyrie Irving, guys? He's struggling a little bit. What do you guys? Is there some sort of concern there for you, Matt? What do you got to say about that?
I'm very concerned about Kyrie Irving. The Celtics last year were able to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, nearly to the NBA Finals, without Kyrie Irving. And I think in order for the Celtics to come back and win this series, they have to bench Kyrie. Kyrie needs to get benched.
Kyrie Irving.
Bench Kyrie Irving. I mean,
Okay.
It's not like it's impossible for them to beat the Bucks. They nearly beat LeBron last year without Kyrie Irving. And so I think Kyrie Irving
nearly beat LeBron. They nearly beat LeBron. That was LeBron's and some chumps on the Cavs. They're not.
Listen to me. Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward have changed everything on the Celtics. Terry Rozier became Scary Terry after last playoffs. Where's Terry Rozier? He's getting like 13 minutes a game. Where's Jaylen Brown? All the Celtics pieces that made them a great team last year are not being great this year. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of blame to go around. You could blame Brad Stevens. You can blame Kyrie Irving. But I think they're down 3-1. Teams who have gone up 3-1 since the expansion draft are 48-1 to win the series. You got to do something new.
Shout out Cavs.
Bench Kyrie.
I disagree. I think Kyrie has had a bad couple of games. The last 3 games have been his worst games in 3 games in his playoff history. And he's put in a lot of minutes every game. In Game 4, he put in 44 minutes. And he led the team in points, and he led the team in points in Game 3. Game 2, he had an awful game. I'm not going to mince words on that one. But we know Kyrie is one of the best guards in the game, and he's also known to be clutch. He doesn't choke in the playoffs like James Harden we've seen in past playoffs. But, who hit the game-winning shot when the Cavs beat the Warriors in Game 7, 2016? Kyrie Irving.
I'll give you that. But this is different. This is a whole new level. Kyrie Irving is, Kyrie Irving, when you're shooting 7 from 22 from the line, and then you go out after the game and say you should have taken 30 shots because you're that great of a shooter, but you guys are getting borderline embarrassed. You're on the brink of elimination, and you're saying that you should be taking more shots. Why aren't you saying I should pass the ball more? Why don't you say I should get more rebounds? Kyrie Irving has changed everything about the Celtics. They haven't been the same since Game 1 of the regular season, and they're not the same some drastic changes are made, the Celtics are going to get eliminated.
I think the Celtics will still get eliminated. If Kyrie's on his game, the Celtics are not going to win 3 games in a row, including 2 games in Milwaukee. But I think you shouldn't take the ball out of the hands of a shooter. And that's what Kyrie is. He's a shooter.
Plenty of shooters.
What?
Celtics have plenty of shooters that can shoot the ball.
They're just wildly
But Kyrie, Kyrie's on another level, I think. And I think the Bucks are much better than you're giving them credit. And
I think the Bucks are a great team.
Yeah, but you say, if you bench Kyrie, Celtics can beat the Bucks. Because they almost beat the Cavs last year.
No, because they ran through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs last year, and they took LeBron to games, and with a bunch of rookies.
Yeah,
I'm talking about rookies.
Jaylen Brown is young. Jason Tatum was young.
Sophomore slump.
Okay, so yeah, Kyrie Irving, obviously, he's averaging 22.1 points per game, 3.1 turnovers per game, shooting a terrible 39%, not terrible, but definitely not good. 39% from the field goal and 33% from 3, which is not Kyrie-esque. But you got to give the Bucks credit. I mean, they're stout on defense, but Kyrie wanted his own team. He wanted to lead a team. And, I understand what you're saying, Matt, that he might have, him and Gordon might have broken up some sort of chemistry, that camaraderie that we saw last year when they didn't have those two. And it does make sense sometimes they're suffering from too much talent that they've had several team meetings and they're trying to find a cohesive unit between all of them to kind of just get going. But I think this hole is just too big to come out of. And I guess, part of it you go around pointing fingers, but a lot of the players that played well last year being inconsistent, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. But, I mean, the Bucks are no joke, and I think they have a lot to do with it.
All I'm saying is that in the regulars, when the season first started, I don't think anybody could argue that, at least on paper, the Celtics had a better team than the Bucks. Obviously, I think the Bucks are a better team than the Celtics, just based on how everything has played out to this point. They have great team chemistry. They like playing with each other, and I don't think the Celtics, all the personalities on that roster, like playing with each other. They don't mess with each other. And I don't think Brad Stevens, he's a great basketball mind, but I don't think he's done a great job of meshing those personalities and positioning the team around those personalities.
I think the last thing I'll say is that Kyrie's problem? Is it Kyrie's problem that the team can't get along? Should you just say, okay, Kyrie, we're just going to bench you because the team gets along better
I think Kyrie left Cleveland to go to the Celtics because he wanted to be the guy and he wanted to be the leader, but I don't think Kyrie is capable of being the leader, and that's why the Celtics are failing. Yeah. He's trying, but he's failing, and that's why the Celtics are going to get eliminated.
Before we go on to our last topic, all I need to say is, Kyrie was the Robin to LeBron's Batman, and he excelled in that role. He came through clutch. He did what he had to do in those playoffs, but not everyone's cut out to be Batman. So he wanted to be Batman, and some people are just meant to be Robin. But I love Kyrie. Nothing against him. It's just they underperformed this year. So, but I guess we'll have to watch and see. Anyways, our last topic, which is an interesting one, and one of my favorite ones, is the series is tied 2-2, fellas, between the Warriors and Rockets, and a pretty highly competitive. What do you guys think the Warriors could turn it up again, turn on that switch, and take them out and go to the Western Conference Finals yet again, or what do you guys think? What do you think? How is this going to play out, Matt?
I think the Warriors are finally going to fall. I think we are really underestimating the intangibles that go along in basketball, and we have been so wrapped up with the players that Golden State has and the skill that Golden State has. And KD's great, Klay Thompson's great, Steph Curry's great. But I think the Rockets are finally going to have their time when they overtake the Warriors. In the past few playoffs, it's always been close between those two teams. It's always come down the wire, and it's always been the Warriors who end up coming out on top. And I think finally it is going to be the Rockets who come out on top. The Warriors are in the playoffs. Head-to-head, the Warriors are only ahead of the Rockets 6-5. Why is it so close? Here's the other thing. I think the Rockets love playing with each other. All those players love playing with each other, and I don't think the Warriors do. And there are so many other distractions. And is Kevin Durant going to be back next year? Is Klay Thompson going to be back next year? Everybody can see it. The Warriors, for the first time since 2014, we don't know that they're going to win the championship?
I don't know if they're going to win the championship. I honestly think the Bucks are good enough to beat them in the finals, or the Raptors for that matter. But I think they can get through the Rockets. I think that the Rockets have to win a game in the Oracle to win the series. I think the Warriors are just too good at home in Oracle in order for the Rockets to win. And if we look at Kevin Durant, he's by far the best player left in the playoffs, and he has the most points per game, 35.4 points per game, most points per game in the first 10 playoffs games since Michael Jordan in 1992. I think Kevin Durant is doing all that he can for that team, and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are not shooting very well so far, but if Klay Thompson and Steph Curry get hot, the series is over.
See, I think that's the difference between this year and previous years, is that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have always been those players, the players that have shown up in the playoffs, shown up when the Warriors needed them to, but they haven't this playoffs. And where's Klay Thompson? Klay Thompson is MIA, and now they're tied 2-2 with the Rockets. The Rockets, I think, are playing as good as they always have. James Harden, I don't think is not a choker anymore. He made that excuse me. He made that 3-point shot to take the lead in Game 4, and I think I just have a feeling this is the Rockets' time.
I think when we look at the Warriors as a team, I would agree with you that this is probably their last year of the Warriors dynasty. I think elements are going to leave from this team, and they're not going to be the perennial favorites anymore. But in Game 3, they had 7 points off the bench. They scored 102 points, and 7 of them came off the bench. If the Warriors get someone like Sean Livingston going, who has always been a solid sixth, seventh man on that team, he's averaging 2.7 points per game in the playoffs here. I think that they have the elements, and I think they've had a good break now, and Steve Kerr is going to say, all right, we can't just mess around anymore. And especially Sean Livingston, if he gets hot and put 10 points a game, so that they're not just, the whole load isn't on Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. I think if one person can come off the bench and score 10 points, the Warriors are going to be just fine.
Yep. You guys say everything really spot on. I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Nuggets have a better chance versus the Rockets than the Warriors. That being said, the Warriors, we know when they show up when they have to. So, before we end the show, you guys have any closing remarks? Any shout-outs?
I'll go first. My first shout-out is going to be to my man Zach Gentry. I grew up in Albuquerque. Saw him at El Dorado a couple times. And he got drafted by the Steelers.
Hey. Absolute
monster, 6'8", 250, something like that. Good for him. And just a couple notes. Elijah Godwin, he's a sprinter at Georgia. He got impaled by a javelin today. That's interesting. He fell on a javelin. It was in the ground. He fell on it.
Wow.
That's interesting. And we talked about Kevin Durant's going to be on the move in the offseason. He's going to the Knicks. They're going to make the playoffs next year.
Ouch. I only have one closing remark. Since I'm a humble guy, I will admit that my bold prediction of the Columbus Blue Jackets winning the Cup has failed. They were eliminated. So I'll admit that I was wrong and Brian was right. It hurts,
awesome.
But it...
Thank you guys for joining us on the season finale. You guys have a great summer. We'll see you guys next semester, and go Nuggets.
Go Avs.